Also, so next we have another great speaker here. Another lineup of a great woman is Juli Ann Rasanayagam, and she is a registered psychotherapist at Empathic Counseling Center in Scarborough. She specializes in anger management and domestic violence, but also works with clients who have challenges with anxiety, depression, and trauma. In 2018, Julianne published her first book entitled DIY Anger Kit, Create Your Own Anger Management Toolkit, available for purchase on Amazon. So I'm going to go add that in my Amazon cart. And so Julianne is an avid coffee drinker, loves her dog Bruno, and loves to sing along with Beyonce in her free time. So I'm going to join you in on that. Beyonce is a fiery woman, so we love that. And I'd like to welcome her up and share what she has to say. Thank you. Julianne, it's all yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much, Ravina, for that great introduction. As mentioned, I am a registered psychotherapist in Scarborough, and I've been working in the field of mental health for the past 9 years. So over the years, I've worked with a diverse population, but by far, working with young South Asian women, particularly our young Tamil women, I find to be the most fulfilling. I am privileged to be able to take a deep dive into their most vulnerable thoughts and their perspective on life. Speaking from personal and professional experience, I see that Tamil women, and especially our second generation Tamil women, they tend to be a little super confused. We are a bit of a mess sometimes. We're a pot of mixed identities, emotions, and belief systems, and it's really hard for us to figure out what is right for us and what is not. Second generation Tamil women struggle with identity formation. So we know from Eric Erickson, a developmental psychologist, that when we enter our adolescent years, we are tasked with the job of forming our identity. It is in this stage of our lives that we discover our interests, our belief systems, our personality, our values, we develop meaningful friendships, and so on. This is an already challenging task, and it's that much more difficult for a second generation Tamil woman who is learning both about her traditional Eastern culture as well as conforming to her non-traditional Western culture. The women who enter my therapy room are women who have one foot in traditional roots and one foot in forming their Western views. Eastern culture is one that is collective, thinking about the family as one unit, and the role of each daughter is to represent that unit with honor and grace. She is to learn to be a good girl, which means to put her family first, learn to cook and clean so she makes for a great wife. She's to avoid socializing with boys and show society that her parents raised her right. It is in these early stages her identity is not her own, but a reflection of good and honorable parenting. To add to her confusion, in school, she is taught that she's an independent woman, one who should develop her own interests, is unbothered by the opinions of others, and she is to explore her likes, dislikes, her strengths, her weaknesses, and to make decisions that are solely hers. She is allowed to make mistakes because mistakes are learning opportunities. She is told to take risks and form her own voice to speak up against injustices. She is a warrior. 1 second. Which is great. There are benefits from both perspectives, with one not being greater than the other. But imagine how confusing it can be for someone to adopt both, where in some cases, some views are obviously opposite. As second generation women, we have basically learned that when I'm at home, I have to have my Eastern hat on. This means I'm conforming to the expectations that are put on me as a young Tamil woman who is a good girl. I am to listen to my elders, never question what they have to say. I am respectful and dutiful. I am domestic. When I'm at school or at the workplace, I have to put on my Western hat, in which I am to show that I am an independent go-getter who marches to the beat of her own drum. What happens when we're caught in a situation that's not so clear of what hat I need to wear? A classic example that comes to mind are the women who speaks to me about the conflicts that they deal at home around marriage. As a generation in general, women are choosing to get married later. According to StatsCan, in 2019, the average age for a woman to get married for the first time is the age of 28. And yet, my clients feel the pressure to get married as soon as they leave post-secondary education around the age of 22. Many choose to delay their marriage because they're focused on settling into their careers, taking care of their own student debts, reaching their own financial goals, sometimes even traveling the world, either with a group of friends or by themselves. They just want to have a period of time where they can actually enjoy their 20s. This is directly related to their Western upbringing, in which there's lots of emphasis on becoming independent and making life choices that align with their values and needs. However, behind closed doors, her parents don't share the same sentiments. She's told that her decisions are selfish and does not put the family first. By choosing to delay her marriage, she is told that she is a burden to her family, even if she is financially independent. They tell her that she can achieve her goals while being married also. They don't care about her accomplishments or her ambition to achieve more, but concerned about their own parental obligations and having their daughter married at a culturally appropriate time. The sooner she gets married, the sooner parental obligations are met. It no longer becomes the need of their daughter, but a need to satisfy their own obligations. And the mind game that these parents play is nothing short of emotional abuse sometimes. The following quotes are things that have actually been told in the therapy room. So my clients have told me that these are the things that their parents have told them. If you don't get married, I'm going to worry so much that I'm going to get sick. Do you really want me to get sick? If you don't decide to get married by next week, we're kicking you out. If you wait too long to get married, no one will want you and you will die alone. What will people think of us as parents if they see that you're not married yet? If you don't make the decision now, you're going to regret it and we won't be there to support you. I am ready to retire and you're stressing me out in my old age. So what is a woman to do? On one hand, it's been ingrained in her to abide by her parents and to protect the family name. But on the other hand, she has other equally important goals that are ignored. Does she choose to appease her parents and get married when she's not ready and deal with the consequences of a relationship? Or does she choose to appease herself and deal with the consequences in dealing with family members who have no problem expressing their opinion? It's a bit of a lose-lose situation sometimes. Our women are alone in these predicaments and they don't know who to talk to because they don't want to badmouth their family. This is where they come in and they see me. They are surprised to learn that they are one of many South Asian women who experience similar challenges. Their experiences are validated and we begin to explore their next steps. The lucky ones are the ones who are eventually able to have a heart-to-heart conversation with their parents, who are a little bit open to understanding her needs, and will have a conversation around meeting in the middle. The therapy for these ladies involve discussion around effective dialogue and developing their communication skills. For those who are not so lucky, our therapy sessions revolve around stress management at home and finding ways to maintain their own mental wellness while having to put up the emotional abuse at home. In rare but extreme cases, we explore alternative housing options if home becomes an unsafe environment. So, in line with this year's International Women's Day's Choose to Challenge theme, what is it that I'm challenging? I'm not challenging parents to change their minds about marriage, and I'm not challenging our daughters to challenge their parents' wishes. I understand that both parties are coming from a place of love. What I'm choosing to challenge is the dichotomy in our identity formation in the first place. I choose to challenge the expectations that we put on our young South Asian women to be good girls by accommodating all of their parents' wishes while neglecting their own. Young women in their upbringing should not have to choose one hat over the other. Instead, allow our girls to grow up in an environment in which they are encouraged to explore both sides of their identity. Eastern and Western cultures have wonderful teachings that we can draw from to become the best versions of ourselves. I love that my Eastern culture emphasizes the importance of creating loving bonds among immediate and extended family members. I draw teachings of nurture, kindness, empathy from my Eastern roots. However, I also love my Western culture as it gives me permission to explore deeply my inner warrior and allows me to be unapologetically myself. Both can exist in one being in all situations without compromising the label of being a good girl. Let's teach our young girls that their journey in identity formation, in the label of being a good girl, is free from societal expectations. Let's lead by example, show how we can still be successful in our Western lives without compromising on our Eastern traditions. We can show our young girls that her definition of being a good girl is not one based on conforming to one identity over the other, but in ways that honors herself and her true identity. Thank you.
Thank you, Julianne. I think you literally had all my emotions and you just like literally said it out. And I was reflecting and understanding everything that you said. And I echo all those things. Even my parents, when they say, you know, you can't go on vacation alone. I'm just like, why? I am a strong, independent woman and I can do this. So thank you for the work that you're doing with young women. And I might just come for those therapy sessions. So thank you for all that.